Welcome to an unbelievable journey into the story of one of the most extraordinary coins in American numismatic history, a coin that has fascinated collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike for decades, the legendary 1958 DeWitt penny, a small copper coin that has become the talk of the world for its staggering face value of $29 million, an unimaginable fortune for something that originally cost just 1 cent. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that was once passed over casually in daily change, dropped into a pocket, forgotten in a jar, or lost between couch cushions, but now stands as one of the most coveted and mysterious pieces in coin collecting history. The 1958 DeWitt penny, minted in Denver, is not just any ordinary penny. It carries within its copper surface a story of rarity, minting errors, and almost mythical intrigue that has transformed it into a multi-million-dollar treasure. What could make such a small, humble piece of metal worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of cars, or even a lifetime of wealth? To answer that, we have to dive deep into the world of minting, historical context, and the unpredictable quirks of human and machine craftsmanship that gave rise to this legendary coin. The Wheat Penny series began in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday, and it became a symbol of American pride, resilience, and history. By 1958, the wheat reverse design was nearing the end of its long run, soon to be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. This final year of production for the wheat design made every 1958 penny somewhat nostalgic for collectors, a symbol of an era coming to a close. But what sets the 1958 D apart is not just its timing but its astonishing minting anomalies and the whispers of a rare double-die era that has made numismatists chase it like a golden ghost. The Denver Mint in 1958 was a bustling facility producing hundreds of millions of coins, each struck under immense pressure by steel dies engraved with precision. Yet, even in such a controlled environment, mistakes could happen, dies could shift slightly, impressions could overlap, and tiny misalignments could create what collectors now call error coins, which are often worth thousands or even millions depending on their rarity and visibility. The 1958 DeWitt penny stands at the pinnacle of this phenomenon, with some examples believed to have been struck with an extremely rare double-die obverse, where the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear doubled, giving the coin a ghostly echo effect that only sharp-eyed collectors can identify. But even beyond the double die, rumors persist of other minting peculiarities: planchet flaws, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even subtle variations in the copper composition that set certain 1958 D pennies apart from the millions of ordinary ones. Each possible error tells a story of how human oversight and mechanical imperfection can create accidental masterpieces. What amplifies the legend of the 1958 DeWitt penny's multi-million-dollar value is not only the rarity of these errors but also the cultural obsession with discovering a hidden fortune in plain sight. Many people around the world dream of finding that one coin in their old collection, inherited from grandparents or discovered in dusty drawers, that could change their life forever. In the case of the 1958 DeWitt penny, this dream has tangible roots. Verified sales of rare wheat pennies and error coins have fetched astonishing amounts at major auctions, where seasoned collectors and investors battle fiercely for ownership of these tiny metallic miracles. Stories of a few pristine 1958 D specimens being valued in the tens of millions have fueled both excitement and disbelief, drawing parallels with other famous rarities like the 1943 copper penny or the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent. What makes the 1958 D even more compelling is that it sits at the end of an era, the last Denver wheat penny before the switch to the memorial design, which adds a layer of historical significance to its already mysterious identity. Collectors often describe such coins as transitional treasures, bridging two design generations and symbolizing a moment of change in the nation's history. But the fascination doesn't end there. The intrinsic beauty of the wheat penny, its warm copper color, the simple yet powerful design of Lincoln's profile, and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse, evokes a sense of nostalgia for a time when money carried artistry and meaning. To think that one such coin, struck over 6 decades ago, now carries a value that rivals famous works of art is nothing short of astounding. Part of what drives the price to astronomical heights is the coin's condition. In numismatics, the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth millions can be as simple as its grade, the level of preservation measured under strict standards by experts. A flawless 1958 DeWitt penny in mint state condition, especially one displaying a rare error, can become the holy grail for serious collectors. Even the slightest imperfections, such as a scratch, discoloration, or worn lettering, can drastically alter its worth. The few that remain untouched, perfectly struck, and preserved in sealed holders have become like relics from another world, with collectors willing to pay sums that most people could never imagine for something so small. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have witnessed bidding wars for high-grade wheat pennies that defy logic, driven by both rarity and passion. The 1958 Pennies legend has also been magnified by countless stories, myths, and discoveries circulating online and among coin enthusiasts. From tales of individuals unknowingly spending one in a store to rumors of hidden mint rolls containing ultra-rare specimens, these stories blur the line between fact and fantasy. But one thing remains true: the thrill of the hunt continues to captivate millions. Every time someone checks their old jar of pennies or sorts through inherited coin collections, there's a flicker of hope that they might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. The economic and historical factors behind this coin also add layers of fascination. In 1958, America was in the midst of post-war prosperity, with the Denver Mint producing massive quantities of coins to meet the nation's growing economic demand. Yet, it's precisely in such periods of mass production that unique accidents often occur, creating anomalies that escape detection. A die might have been slightly misaligned during setup, or perhaps a mint worker noticed the imperfection too late, allowing a few flawed coins to enter circulation. These tiny moments in history, barely noticeable then, have become million-dollar stories today. The journey of the 1958 wheat penny from everyday currency to a multimillion-dollar artifact represents the perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and historical timing. Its $29 million valuation is not merely about its metal content, it's about the narrative it carries, the emotions it stirs, and the dreams it fuels among collectors. Even experts who debate its exact valuation agree that its symbolic worth far exceeds its physical size. For many, it represents the heart of what makes coin collecting magical, the idea that a forgotten piece of history can suddenly become a priceless treasure. Beyond the collectors and experts, the coin has become a pop culture phenomenon. It's been featured in numismatic magazines, online videos, and forums where enthusiasts share theories, sightings, and photographs comparing possible varieties. Some claim that certain 1958 pennies exhibit a repunched mint mark, where the small d appears slightly doubled, a result of manual re-engraving done in that era before automation took over. Others have pointed to microscopic doubling on Lincoln's eye or the lettering, suggesting rare die varieties that might still be undiscovered. These ongoing discoveries ensure that the legend of the 1958 wheat penny continues to grow, keeping collectors on edge and the market alive with anticipation. Even counterfeiters have tried to cash in on the frenzy, producing fake double dies or artificially altering coins to resemble rare varieties, which has led to a surge in authentication services and expert evaluations. Genuine examples, once certified, become not just valuable but legendary, often featured in exhibitions and private collections alongside other great rarities of the numismatic world. Imagine, for a moment, finding one in your possession. The idea itself sparks the imagination. Perhaps your grandparents kept an old coffee can full of pennies, or maybe you found a dusty box of coins in the attic. What if, hidden among them, lies a 1958 wheat penny with the right markings, the right luster, and the right history? That single coin could alter your life forever. Stories of such discoveries are not uncommon in the world of rare coins, where everyday people stumble upon life-changing treasures. And while some might dismiss the notion of a penny being worth millions as far-fetched, the history of coin collecting is filled with precedents that prove otherwise. The 1943 copper penny, for instance, was once an ordinary coin until its steel production error made it worth a fortune. The same principle applies to the 1958 Its extreme rarity and perfect storm of conditions make its value not only plausible but justified in the eyes of the numismatic community. Even with all the facts and theories, there's still a sense of mystery surrounding the 1958 wheat penny that no expert can fully explain. Perhaps that's what makes it so captivating, the idea that something so small can hold secrets larger than life itself. Next. Today we are going to explore one of the most astonishing and talked about coins in numismatic history, the 1955 wheat penny, a small 1-cent coin that shocked collectors and historians alike when its story spread across the world, with a rumored value soaring as high as $13 million due to its incredible rarity, striking errors, and mysterious minting anomalies that make it a true legend among coin enthusiasts. Imagine holding a coin worth just 1 cent yet so unique and flawed that collectors would pay millions just to own it. That's the magic of the 1955 wheat penny, a piece of American minting history that represents a perfect storm of human error, mechanical malfunction, and sheer luck, resulting in a coin that has become an icon of the error coin world. To understand why this coin is worth such an astronomical figure, we need to go back to the mid-1950s, when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was running full production of Lincoln cents, producing hundreds of millions of coins every year. But during one fateful night shift in 1955, something went terribly wrong during the minting process that would forever change the fate of a few thousand coins. During the minting of the Lincoln wheat penny that year, one of the working dies used to strike the obverse side of the coin, the side featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait, became misaligned with the die used to stamp the lettering and design, resulting in a double die error that produced a shocking and easily visible doubling of the date, 1955, and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." This error wasn't just a tiny flaw seen under magnification, it was so bold that anyone could notice it with the naked eye, and as these error coins slipped into circulation mixed with regular pennies, they immediately began to attract attention from people who suddenly noticed something unusual about their pocket change. The error occurred because the coin die used to strike the obverse had been improperly hubbed, meaning the die received two impressions from the master hub that were slightly offset, leading to the distinctive doubled image. When the mint realized the error, thousands of these coins had already been released, and by the time they attempted to correct the mistake, many had entered circulation through cigarette vending machines, payrolls, and change drawers across the northeastern United States. Collectors who found these coins quickly realized that they were something special, and by the late 1950s, the 1955 double-die wheat penny became one of the most famous and sought-after coins in American history. But what exactly makes one of these coins capable of reaching a value of up to $13 million? The answer lies not only in its rarity and visual impact but also in the condition, provenance, and historical significance surrounding the specific specimen that sold or is rumored to exist in pristine mint state condition. Most of the known 1955 double-die pennies that were discovered circulated heavily, showing wear and tear from use in daily commerce. However, a handful of examples were preserved in nearly perfect, uncirculated condition, making them exponentially more valuable. Coin grading organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, have graded only a few of these coins in the highest mint states, such as MS-65 or above, and those examples fetch staggering prices at auction. But there are even rumors of a near-perfect example with sharp strike details, flawless surfaces, and vibrant original color, a coin that collectors and investors speculate could command a price of up to $13 million if ever offered for sale, due to its status as the ultimate error coin and its cultural impact on the numismatic community. The story of the 1955 double-die penny goes far beyond its visual error. It represents a moment when human imperfection met industrial machinery to create something entirely unintentional yet mesmerizingly valuable. The doubling effect on this coin is so distinct that even the untrained eye can see that the date looks almost like it's vibrating or shadowed, giving it a ghostly double-printed look that has intrigued collectors for decades. The obverse side, where the doubling is most apparent, shows Lincoln's face looking crisp and strong, while the letters around him seem to shimmer with this bizarre twin image that no regular coin carries. The reverse, however, remained perfectly normal, showing the familiar wheat ears design, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent clearly and cleanly struck, which only makes the contrast more striking. Some experts believe that fewer than 24,000 examples were released into circulation, but the number surviving today in collectible condition is probably much smaller, perhaps in the range of 10,000 to 15,000, with only a tiny fraction being in high mint state condition. What makes the 1955 wheat penny so fascinating is that it became one of the few coins to bridge the gap between ordinary people and elite collectors. In the late 1950s, news about the coin spread through magazines, newspapers, and even television shows, causing a frenzy of coin checking across America. People started dumping out their change jars, sifting through rolls of pennies, and searching relentlessly for one of these rare error coins, hoping to strike it rich. Even tobacco companies like cigarette distributors noticed that customers were spotting these coins in vending machine change, which only added to the lore of how ordinary mistakes could lead to extraordinary fortune. The psychological appeal of the 1955 double-die penny lies in its perfect symbolism, something so small and common, yet so imperfectly beautiful that it becomes priceless. The coin became a cultural icon for collectors, a lesson in how accidents can produce masterpieces, and a tangible reminder that even in a system designed for perfection, human error creates wonder. The 1955 penny also holds a special place in the timeline of U.S. minting errors because it was produced before the mint had modernized its quality control and inspection systems, which makes it one of the last major dramatic doubled dies to be released in large numbers before such occurrences became exceedingly rare. The fascination with this coin also led to decades of study, with numismatists analyzing the specific hubbing process, press alignment, and die life to understand exactly how this error occurred. The fact that this coin could even exist with such prominent doubling, without being caught in quality control, speaks volumes about the production environment of the 1950s. It was a time when the minting process was far more hands-on, and the precision of die alignment relied heavily on human skill, meaning even a small misstep could create a collectible masterpiece. While the standard 1955 penny might be worth just a cent, the double die version completely transcends its face value because of the extreme rarity combined with instant recognizability. Every collector dreams of finding one in pristine red mint state condition, as the color and preservation of the copper alloy play a huge role in determining its value. A coin with its original red luster, full detail, and no visible marks can be worth hundreds of thousands, even millions, and the theoretical existence of a flawless example, perhaps one stored since 1955 and untouched by human hands, is what fuels the speculation that one could be valued as high as $13 million. Beyond the financial value, there is the mystique surrounding the coin. Stories have circulated of families finding one hidden away in jars, estate sales uncovering long-forgotten examples, and collectors passing them down as treasured heirlooms. The combination of scarcity, visibility of error, and story-driven mystique gives the 1955 wheat penny a mythical status in the coin world. Over time, the legend has grown, as collectors tell tales of elusive uncirculated rolls believed to have been accidentally distributed by mistake, possibly still hidden in safes or safety deposit boxes, untouched for decades. Each of these possibilities adds to the coin's allure, making it not just a collectible but a piece of American folklore. The magnitude of its value also reflects how the numismatic market has evolved, how rarity, beauty, condition, and narrative combine to turn metal into a work of art. In numismatics, it's not just about how many coins exist, it's about how many survive in top condition, how visible the errors are, and how compelling the story is. The 1955 doubled die wheat penny checks all of those boxes. Its doubling is dramatic and unmistakable, its mintage is small, its survival rate in pristine form is minuscule, and its story has captured hearts for over half a century. There's also an emotional element, the idea that such an error could occur during a time when America was transitioning after the Korean War, and people were just beginning to see numismatics as more than a hobby but an investment. Owning one of these coins became a status symbol, a badge of luck and sharp-eyed awareness. Even decades later, whenever one goes up for auction, it becomes a major event in the coin world. Collectors bid fiercely, prices climb astronomically, and every new sale reignites the legend. The most pristine examples, those graded at the highest levels, have set record-breaking prices in auctions, sometimes fetching hundreds of thousands of dollars, and experts often speculate that the day a flawless, museum-quality, 1955 double die penny appears, its value could indeed hit or surpass the $13 million mark. Last. Today's story is about one of the most legendary coins in American history, the 1944 1-cent coin that's rumored to be worth an astonishing $9 million because of its rare errors, mysterious origin, and the fascinating story that surrounds it, making it one of the most sought-after coins by collectors and historians alike. So sit tight because we're about to explore how a single copper-colored coin from World War II became one of the most valuable pieces of numismatic history ever created and why the mistakes on it make it worth more than gold itself. To understand why the 1944 1-cent coin became so valuable, we have to travel back to the early 1940s, a time when the world was engulfed in World War II, and resources like copper were considered essential for ammunition and military supplies. Because of this, the U.S. Mint made a major change in 1943 by producing the penny out of zinc-coated steel instead of copper, saving copper for the war effort. These 1943 steel cents had a distinctive silvery appearance, and while they served their purpose, they were not well received by the public because they rusted easily, stuck to magnets, and often confused people who mistook them for dimes. In 1944, as the war was nearing its end and copper was no longer as scarce, the mint switched back to using copper for penny production, melting down spent shell casings from the war to make the new coins. However, this transition wasn't as smooth as planned. Some leftover steel planchets from 1943 were accidentally mixed with the new copper ones, leading to one of the most famous minting errors in U.S. history, the 1944 steel penny. These error coins are what make the 1944 1-cent coin so legendary and valuable today. The 1944 steel cent is an accidental masterpiece created by the chaotic circumstances of the war. The U.S. Mint operates on an industrial scale, producing millions of coins daily, and sometimes old planchets from a previous year's production get caught in the machinery. When that happens, the result is an unintended minting error. In this case, a few leftover 1943 steel planchets found their way into the presses when the mint resumed copper production in 1944, leading to a handful of pennies being struck on steel instead of copper. These coins look silver-gray instead of reddish-brown, and because only a few are known to exist, their value skyrocketed. Imagine holding a coin that looks out of place for its year, one that by all logic shouldn't exist, yet was created by pure chance in one of the most tumultuous periods of American history. The rarity of these coins is what makes them worth millions today. Most 1944 cents are ordinary copper coins worth a few cents, but the steel versions, especially those struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints, are the ones collectors dream of finding. Only a handful of genuine 1944 steel cents have ever been confirmed, and every time one appears at auction, it causes a frenzy among collectors and investors. In recent years, these coins have fetched astonishing prices, sometimes over $1 million each, depending on condition and mint mark. The one that is rumored to have been sold for $9 million stands as a symbol of how powerful rarity, history, and human fascination can make a simple coin into a priceless artifact. But beyond the steel error, there are other fascinating varieties and mistakes that make certain 1944 pennies incredibly valuable. For example, some 1944 copper cents were mistakenly struck on shell casing brass with slightly different metal compositions, resulting in a unique color tone and weight. Others have doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets, all of which add layers of mystery and uniqueness that make collectors willing to pay huge sums. Every tiny imperfection tells a story of human error and mechanical imperfection during a time when the mint was working under immense pressure. It's important to understand that coin collecting isn't just about the metal value, it's about history captured in physical form. Each of these 1944 cents represents a moment frozen in time, a moment when the mint workers were racing to keep up with wartime demands, when the nation was transitioning from war back to peace, and when production decisions were made in haste. That historical backdrop adds emotional and cultural weight to these coins, amplifying their value far beyond what the materials themselves are worth. Imagine finding one of these coins in your change jar or inherited collection, a coin that could be worth millions because it's one of only a few in existence. That possibility has driven generations of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts to inspect every penny they come across, hoping to find the elusive 1944 steel cent. Some even go as far as using magnets to test their pennies, since a genuine 1944 steel cent will stick to a magnet due to its iron composition, while the copper ones will not. Stories of people discovering rare coins in old jars, attics, or inherited collections continue to fuel the public's fascination, and the 1944 1-cent coin remains at the top of that list. The human side of this story is just as captivating as the technical one. The idea that something as small and ordinary as a penny can hold such unimaginable value challenges our perception of worth and rarity. It reminds us that mistakes, when preserved and understood, can become treasures. Many collectors see these error coins as artistic accidents, masterpieces created unintentionally by the U.S. Mint, reflecting a period of change and chaos in American history. Over the years, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated a few genuine 1944 steel cents, confirming their extraordinary rarity. Some of these coins came from the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, while others were struck at Denver, with a small D mark, and San Francisco, marked with an S. The Denver and San Francisco varieties are even rarer than the Philadelphia version, making them particularly valuable. The combination of rarity, condition, and provenance determines the price, and that's why some have sold for astronomical sums, reaching into the millions. The legendary $9 million valuation likely refers to an example that achieved near-perfect condition and was sold in a private transaction to an elite collector, cementing its place in numismatic legend. But even beyond its monetary value, the 1944 1-cent coin is a symbol of resilience and transition. Think about it, during wartime, when the country faced shortages, sacrifices, and uncertainty, even the smallest coin had to adapt. The shift from copper to steel and back again tells a story of ingenuity and resource management. The 1944 cent serves as a reminder of the era when every resource mattered, yet mistakes could still happen, creating something extraordinary out of chaos. These coins are time capsules of the American spirit, showing that even in times of turmoil, beauty and rarity can emerge unexpectedly. What's even more fascinating is that many fake 1944 steel cents have surfaced over the years, created by coating regular 1944 copper pennies with silver-colored metals or by altering 1943 steel cents to look like 1944 issues. Because of the high value of genuine examples, counterfeiters have always tried to take advantage of the hype. That's why authentication and expert verification are so crucial in the world of rare coins. Specialists examine details like weight, magnetic response, die characteristics, and mint marks under magnification to determine authenticity. The true 1944 steel cent weighs about 2.7 grams, whereas copper ones weigh 3.11 grams, and even this tiny difference can reveal the truth. Beyond the steel error, there's also the 1944 D/S mint mark variety, where a Denver mint mark was accidentally punched over a San Francisco mint mark, creating another fascinating error that collectors hunt for. Each of these small details adds depth to the 1944 cent's legacy, transforming it into a multifaceted story of minting technology, wartime adaptation, and human error. For many collectors, owning a 1944 steel cent isn't just about money, it's about holding a piece of American history. It connects them to a time when the world was changing rapidly, when industries were stretched to their limits, and when even the tiniest object carried immense meaning. The emotional value is just as powerful as the financial one. Some collectors display their rare coins in museums or exhibitions, allowing others to witness the tangible link to history, while others keep them securely hidden, treating them like secret treasures. The allure of the 1944 1-cent coin has also inspired countless documentaries, articles, and videos, each retelling the story of how a minting mistake turned into a multimillion-dollar marvel. In the broader context of rare coins, the 1944 cent sits among legends like the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1913 Liberty Nickel, and the 1804 Silver Dollar, all coins whose value stems not just from rarity but from the stories they tell. The 1944 cent, in particular, captures the imagination because it started as a coin everyone used daily, something ordinary that became extraordinary through a simple twist of fate. The lesson it offers is profound. Sometimes the most unexpected things hold the greatest value. When you consider the journey of these coins, from being struck under wartime pressure to being lost, found, and treasured decades later, it feels like a story written by history itself. Each 1944 steel cent that resurfaces reignites that excitement, and collectors around the world keep their eyes peeled for the next discovery.